Silent watchers. The alarm blared through the underground facility, its harsh tone echoing off sterile white walls. Director Elijah Reeves sprinted down the corridor, his security badge flapping against his chest. Behind him, feet pounded the polished floor as his team struggled to keep pace. "Status report," he barked into his comms device. "Sir, the quantum anomaly detector just went off the charts," replied Dr. Nadia Volkov, her Russian accent thickening with stress. "Whatever's out there, it's big and it's not natural." Reeves burst into the control center, a cavernous room filled with screens and holographic displays. The facility, officially named Deep Space Monitoring Station Alpha but nicknamed the basement by those who worked there, was humanity's most advanced early warning system. Built 2 kilometers beneath the New Mexico desert, it had been detecting strange signals for months, but nothing like this. "Show me," Reeves demanded. Dr. Volkov's fingers danced across her console. The main display shifted to show a three-dimensional representation of Earth's orbit. A pulsing red dot appeared at the edge of the lunar orbit. "It appeared approximately 7 minutes ago," Volkov explained. "No conventional propulsion signature, no heat emissions, nothing our standard protocols would detect, but the quantum distortion is unmistakable." Major Darius Washington, the facility's military liaison, stepped forward. His dark face was expressionless, but tension radiated from his rigid posture. "Are we looking at first contact, Director?" Reeves ran a hand through his graying hair. "I don't think so, Major. This isn't their first visit." The room fell silent. Reeves tapped a command into the nearest console, entering a security code known only to him. A new display appeared, showing similar anomalies detected over the past 5 years, all carefully concealed from public knowledge. "They've been watching us," he said quietly. "For years, maybe centuries. The question is, why reveal themselves now?" Dr. Josephine Kwan, the team's xenobiologist, spoke up from her station. "Maybe they didn't mean to. Our detection capabilities have improved significantly since we incorporated the quantum fluctuation algorithms." "Or maybe they want us to see them," countered Dr. Terk Nassar, head of communications. His eyes narrowed behind wire-rimmed glasses. "A warning, perhaps." Before anyone could respond, another alarm sounded, this one more urgent than the first. "We've got movement," Volkov called out. "The object is changing trajectory. It's heading toward Earth." Reeves slammed his palm down on the emergency alert button. "Get me the president, now." 10,000 kilometers above Earth, aboard the Vigilance, observer First Class Synthari watched the primitive planet with growing concern. The sleek vessel, invisible to Earth's conventional detection systems, had maintained its surveillance operation for nearly 300 years, a mere blink in the lifespan of a Caldari. "They've detected us," announced Tactical Officer Meverix, his scaled fingers adjusting the sensor controls. "Their quantum detection grid registered our presence 7 of their minutes ago." Zenthari's double-lidded eyes blinked slowly. "Impossible, their technology is not that advanced." "Evidently it is," replied Meverix. "The humans have progressed faster than our models predicted." Commander Drevex, the ship's highest-ranking officer, rose from his command chair. His ceremonial cape, marked with the symbols of the Galactic Council's Observer Corps, rippled with the movement. "This changes everything," Drevex said, mandibles clicking in agitation. "The Council must be informed immediately. Humanity has crossed another technological threshold ahead of schedule." Zenthari turned from the view screen. "Commander, the humans haven't even achieved practical interstellar travel yet. They've sent crewed probes beyond their system, yes, but—" "And how long before they do achieve it?" Drevex interrupted. "A decade, too. Their rate of advancement is unprecedented. They've progressed from primitive combustion engines to quantum detection in less than 3 centuries. No other species in Council records has developed so rapidly." The observation chamber fell silent. Every member of the crew knew the implications. The Galactic Council had strict protocols for emerging species, and humanity had just triggered another warning flag. "Shall I prepare a full report for the Council?" asked Zenthari. Drevex's mandibles clicked again, a sign of deep thought among the Caldari. "Yes, but first, set course for the monitoring station on their moon. We need closer observation now that they're aware of our presence." As the Vigilance changed course, none of its crew noticed the small, dark object drifting at the edge of their sensor range. A vessel of design unknown to the Council races, watching both Earth and the Vigilance with cold, calculating interest. In Washington, D.C., President Olivia Martinez stared at the collection of military and scientific advisors gathered in the White House Situation Room. The emergency meeting had been called with such urgency that several participants attended via secure video link. "You're absolutely certain?" she asked, her voice steady despite the magnitude of the news. Director Reeves nodded from the main screen. "Yes, Madam President, we've confirmed it through multiple detection systems. There is an artificial object of non-human origin in Earth orbit, and it's been there for some time." General Victor Hammond, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, leaned forward. "What are our defense options?" "Against a civilization capable of interstellar travel," Dr. Reeves gave a humorless laugh. "Minimal at best." "We've been preparing for this possibility," interjected Dr. Layla Nassim, director of the newly formed Extraterrestrial Research Division. "Project Aegis has developed several theoretical countermeasures based on our latest quantum technology." President Martinez raised a hand to silence the growing debate. "The immediate question is not how we fight them, but how we communicate with them. This could be humanity's greatest opportunity." "Or our greatest threat," Hammond countered. Secretary of State Thomas Chen adjusted his glasses. "Madam President, how do we handle this publicly? The existence of alien observers will cause global panic." "We don't know their intentions," Reeves added. "They could have destroyed us centuries ago if that was their goal." The president's response was cut short by an urgent communication. Her chief of staff handed her a tablet, face pale. "We have a new development," Martinez announced after reading the message. "Our lunar observatory has detected another object entering the solar system at high velocity. It's on an intercept course with the first alien vessel." The room erupted in confused discussion until the president banged her hand on the table. "People, focus. We may be witnessing first contact, or we may be catching the edge of someone else's conflict. Either way, humanity needs to be prepared. General Hammond, I want our military at DEFCON 3. Dr. Nassim, activate Project Aegis, and someone get me the UN Secretary General." As the meeting dissolved into frantic activity, President Martinez remained seated, gazing at the satellite image of Earth displayed on the wall screen. For thousands of years, humanity had wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer, and with it, the realization that they might be caught in the middle of an ancient cosmic struggle. In the darkness beyond Neptune's orbit, the massive warship Inevitability emerged from subspace. Unlike the elegant Vigilance, this vessel bristled with weapons. Its hull, composed of a material that absorbed rather than reflected light, seemed to devour the distant sunlight. On its command deck, Supreme Hunter Krivax observed the holographic display of the solar system. His 6 eyes, arranged in a circle around his armored head, focused on the small blue planet and its single moon. "The Caldari observer has been detected," reported his second-in-command. "Just as predicted." Krivax's mouth parts shifted in what passed for a smile among the Zorelian outsiders. "The council grows careless. Their arrogance will be their downfall." "And the humans." "A primitive species, but with potential." Krivax's voice was like stone grinding against metal. "Their genetic structure contains elements we have not encountered before, elements that may be useful in our war against the Council." "They will resist." "Of course they will." Krivax's armored hand closed into a fist. "All species resist at first, but they will serve the outsider dominion whether they choose to or not. Ready the harvesting teams. We begin with their orbital installations." As the Inevitability moved toward the inner solar system, Krivax contemplated the coming conflict. The Galactic Council had dominated space for too long, imposing their version of order on the galaxy. The Outsiders, a coalition of species that rejected Council authority, had fought from the shadows for millennia. Now, with the discovery of Earth and its unusual inhabitants, the balance of power might finally shift. The humans would be the perfect weapon against the Council once they were properly modified. The galaxy had slept on Earth for too long, but the time for sleeping was over. The war with the Outsiders had begun. First contact. The skies above Beijing erupted in chaos as the International Space Defense Force scrambled its experimental atmospheric fighters. Commander Jin Wei watched from the command center as 20 sleek jets, the pinnacle of human military technology, rose to meet the incoming threat. "All squadrons maintain formation," she ordered, forcing calm into her voice. Remember your training, we may be outmatched, but we will show these visitors that Earth is not defenseless. On the massive central display, red triangles representing unknown craft descended through the atmosphere. The objects had appeared without warning 30 minutes earlier, bypassing Earth's early detection systems entirely. Similar scenes were unfolding over New York, Moscow, New Delhi, and Johannesburg, a coordinated first strike against Earth's most populous centers. Commander, called Lieutenant Ortiz from the sensor station, these aren't the same signatures as the vessel we detected near the moon. Different configuration entirely. Jin's hands tightened on the console, so we're dealing with two different alien forces. At minimum, confirmed Dr. Reeves, who had been rushed to Beijing when the attacks began. The Council observer vessel is still in lunar orbit. These attackers are something else. A flash on the screen drew their attention. One of the ISDF fighters had launched a missile at the lead alien craft. The projectile streaked toward its target, only to disintegrate 100 meters away without making impact. Some kind of defensive field, Jin muttered. Conventional weapons are useless. Dr. Nassim, who had accompanied Reeves from Washington, stepped forward. Commander, we need to try the Aegis prototype. Jin hesitated. Project Aegis's quantum disruption weapon was untested in combat, and its power requirements were enormous. Using it might black out half of Asia, but with alien forces attacking major cities worldwide, they had few options. Prepare the Aegis platform, Jin ordered, and pray it works. Aboard the Vigilance, Commander Drevex watched in alarm as Zorelian attack ships descended on Earth. The Outsiders' presence in this system was unexpected and deeply troubling. Why would they risk attacking a planet under Council observation? Zenthari wondered aloud. Because they know we follow protocol, Drevex replied bitterly. The non-interference directive prevents us from directly intervening to protect pre-Council species. Tactical Officer Meverix looked up from his station. Commander, the humans are deploying some kind of energy weapon against the Zorelian vessels, a technology they shouldn't possess at their development stage. Drevex moved to the sensor display. The readings confirmed Meverix's report. The humans had developed quantum-based weaponry decades ahead of the Council's projections. This changes everything, Drevex said. Contact the Council immediately. We need authorization to intervene. Zenthari's expression showed alarm. Sir, that would violate centuries of policy regarding emerging species. If the Zorelians gain control of Earth and its resources, they could shift the balance of power throughout the sector, Drevex countered. Some protocols must be broken to preserve the greater order. As the communication officer prepared the emergency transmission, Meverix suddenly straightened. Commander, multiple Zorelian warships decloaking. They're targeting us. The first impact rocked the Vigilance before Drevex could respond. The observation vessel, though advanced, was not designed for combat against dedicated warships. Evasive maneuvers, Drevex ordered. And send that transmission now. The Council must know that the Outsiders have broken the truce. In Earth's upper atmosphere, the Aegis platform hummed to life. The massive orbital installation, disguised as a civilian research station, was humanity's secret insurance policy, developed after the first hints of alien observation were detected years earlier. Dr. Nassim watched anxiously as power readings climbed toward operational threshold. The quantum disruption field, if successful, would temporarily disable advanced energy systems within its range. At least, that was the theory. Aegis at 90% capacity, reported the technician beside her. Beijing's power grid is already showing strain. On the tactical display, the alien vessels continued their descent, now less than 5 minutes from reaching the city center. ISDF fighters harassed them ineffectively, their weapons unable to penetrate the advanced shields. We don't have a choice, Nassim decided. Activate Aegis now. The technician pressed his palm against the biometric scanner. The platform's core began to pulse with blue-white energy, building to a crescendo before releasing an invisible wave of quantum distortion that rippled outward. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, one by one, the alien craft began to falter. Their smooth descent became erratic as their propulsion systems fluctuated. Two collided, erupting in spectacular explosions that lit up the morning sky. It's working, Jin exclaimed, watching from the command center. All alien craft are showing power fluctuations. But their celebration was premature. The remaining alien vessels, though struggling, adjusted quickly. Their formation tightened as they continued toward the city, now firing energy weapons that sliced through buildings below. They're adapting, Dr. Reeves noted grimly. The disruption field won't hold them for long. Jin opened a secure channel to military commands worldwide. All defense forces, the aliens are vulnerable to quantum disruption technology. Aegis has temporarily disabled their shields. Hit them with everything we've got while we have the chance. As Earth's military forces launched a desperate counterattack, no one noticed the brief energy surge from lunar orbit, or the sudden silence as the Vigilance's distress signal abruptly ceased. Supreme Hunter Krivax observed the battle from the Inevitabilities Command Center with growing irritation. The humans were proving more resourceful than anticipated. How did they develop quantum disruption technology? He demanded. Our intelligence indicated they were at least 50 cycles away from such advancements. His science officer Mezek studied the sensor readings. Unknown, Supreme Hunter, but the technology is crude, effective, but inefficient. They've had to divert significant power from their planetary grid to operate it. Krivax contemplated this information. The Council has violated their own directive. They've been sharing technology with the humans. That would explain the accelerated development, Mezek agreed. But why would the Council risk breaking their sacred non-interference policy? Because they fear us, Krivax said, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. They know the Outsider Alliance grows stronger. They seek new allies, even primitive ones. A communications officer interrupted. Supreme Hunter, the Council observation vessel has been neutralized. Our strike force reports minimal resistance. Good, deploy the harvesters to these coordinates. Krivax indicated several locations on the planetary display. We need human specimens for the adaptation process. Priority on their military and scientific personnel. They've shown adaptability that could be useful to our cause. As the orders were transmitted, Krivax turned his attention back to the battle below. The humans were fighting valiantly, but their victory over the initial attack wave was merely a temporary setback. Soon they would understand the true might of the Outsider Alliance and their own destiny as its newest unwilling members. President Martinez stood in the emergency bunker beneath the White House, surrounded by her crisis team. Reports flooded in from around the world, alien forces attacking major cities, strange craft abducting civilians and military personnel, and most disturbing of all, the complete destruction of the International Space Station. The Chinese deployment of Aegis bought us time, General Hammond reported, but the aliens are adapting quickly. We need a new strategy. Dr. Nassim stepped forward, tablet in hand. Madam President, we've intercepted communications between the attacking forces and what appears to be their command ship beyond Neptune. The translations are rough, but they refer to humans as specimens and genetic resources. They're harvesting us, Secretary Chen said, horror evident in his voice. Before anyone could respond, the bunker's communication officer called out. Madam President, we're receiving a transmission from lunar orbit. It's not from the original observer vessel. Put it through, Martinez ordered, straightening her posture despite her exhaustion. The main screen flickered, then resolved to show a humanoid figure with iridescent blue skin and elaborate cranial ridges. When it spoke, its words were translated by an unseen mechanism. People of Earth, I am Ambassador Thalara of the Galactic Council. The attack on your world is not our doing, but the work of the Outsider Alliance, renegades who reject Council authority and seek to exploit developing worlds for resources and biological material. The room fell silent as the alien continued. The Council vessel assigned to monitor your development has been destroyed. I have been authorized to offer Earth Provisional Protection status, an unprecedented step for a species at your development stage. In return, we ask for your cooperation against our common enemy. President Martinez stepped forward. Ambassador, your people have been watching Earth for years without revealing yourselves. Why should we trust you now? Thalara's expression shifted in what might have been respect. A fair question. The Council's policy of non-interference is designed to allow species to develop naturally without the shock of knowing they are not alone in the universe. Some on the Council still believe this is the correct approach for humanity. And you? I believe that policy has been rendered irrelevant by the Outsiders' actions. They attack you because they recognize what some on the Council have long suspected: humanity has unique potential. Your technological advancement rate exceeds any species we have encountered in millennia. General Hammond moved to stand beside the president. What exactly does this protection status entail? Council vessels will enter your system to engage outsider forces. We will share defensive technology to help you resist their harvesting operations. In exchange, we ask for your cooperation and resource support. Martinez's eyes narrowed, and after the threat is eliminated, what then? The Lara hesitated. That would be determined by the full council, but I can promise you this, humanity would have a voice in that decision. Before Martinez could respond, alarms blared throughout the bunker. The officer at the sensor station turned with panic evident on his face. Multiple objects entering atmosphere worldwide, hundreds of them, no thousands. On the screen, Ambassador Thalara's expression grew grim. The main outsider invasion force has arrived. You must decide quickly, President Martinez. Stand with the Council or face the outsiders alone. As the leaders of Earth contemplated this impossible choice, the war that would determine humanity's place in the galaxy escalated from skirmish to full-scale invasion. Unknown to either the humans or the Council, this conflict had been millennia in the making, and Earth's unique properties made it the perfect battlefield for the final confrontation between galactic powers. The Council had observed, the outsiders had attacked. Now humanity would have to choose a side or forge their own path among the stars.